Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests, good evening to you all. Welcome to back to Toastmaster Club meeting number 355. We are gathered here tonight to enjoy and learn from each other. So enjoy the meeting. May I ask Babco Toastmaster Club President Toastmaster Muhammad Ali to call the meeting 355 to order, please.
Thank you, Sergeant Atam, Toastmaster Habib. I call Babco Toastmaster Club meeting number 355 to order.
In line with Babco culture, we start every meeting with a Sheikh movement, and the Sheikh stands for safety, health, environment, and equality. Tonight's Sheikh movement will be delivered by Toastmaster Fatma Hussein.
Thank you very much, our dear Sergeant at Arms, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, a very good evening. Let me ask you a question. Who here like to walk down the streets? No? Who here knows of someone who walks or runs down the streets? Don't you walk from your office to your car, to the car park? Well, all of us walk in one way or the other. And sometimes we're forced to walk near cars. Now, the other day, I was running down the busy streets of Sar when I came across another friend of mine. He's a runner, an excellent runner. He was running down the busy streets of Sar as well. What he was doing was something that was shocking. I could not believe what he was doing. And what was that? He was running with the traffic on the road. So all the roads were going this way, and he was running right next to them. Now, in running and in walking, the best thing to do is to walk against the traffic. Why do you want to do this? Because you want to make sure that you are looking at the cars, you are looking at the drivers. And most of the time, you'll find out that people are on their phone. So imagine if someone does not notice a runner or someone who's walking down the streets while they're on their phone, that person is gone. But it is our duty when we go out and walk down the roads that we do that against traffic. And here's a nice photo that shows this. Do not walk with the cars. You want to walk against the traffic so you can see all the drivers as they pass by you. Thank you, and back to you, Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatma Hussein, for the valuable Sheikh movement. And now, may I call the grammarian, Toastmaster Brahma Kumocho, to explain your role and introduce the word of the day.
Thank you, Sergeant Arms. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, good evening. Tonight, my role is grammarian. As a grammarian, I'm responsible to pay close attention to all the speakers who are speaking tonight and listening carefully to their language use. I'll also take a note of improper use of language. In addition to that, I'll note down the outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or any important thoughts which are shared during their speech. And moreover, the important thing is introducing a new word for this meeting. For tonight's meeting, the word of which I'm going to introduce is perseverance. It's a bit difficult to pronounce, but you can see my background. So it's always takes your focus on these words so that you can use most of the time. This word perseverance is a noun, and the origin is from Old French language, and also from the Latin words, it's perseverant, which is abiding by strictly. See, this word can be used in different sentences like his family persevered with his treatment. Basically, the meaning of this perseverant is persistence in doing the same something despite of difficulties or delays in achieving the progress. So another example for usage of this word is his perseverance with the technique illustrates his single-mindedness. So the synonyms for this word is persistence, tenacity, determination, resolve, resolution, staying power. There are many other synonyms are there which you can use in this instead of using this word. So I always encourage you, all the speakers and whoever speaks tonight, to use this word as much as possible. At the end of the meeting, I'll give my report when I'm called upon, and I'll also share the usage of the word of the day at the end of the meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Sergeant Arms.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brahma Kumajo, for explaining the word of the day. Now it is the time to hear from our president to start the meeting. Could you please help me put your hand together and welcome the club president, Toastmaster Muhammad Ali, to start the meeting.
Thank you very much once again, Sergeant at Arm. Let me start today's meeting with a quote by the founder of Toastmasters International, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. As he said, leadership is the capacity to look ahead, think ahead, plan ahead, and then influence other people to go ahead on the plan. Let me now share my screen to show you something. Just before the meeting, I went through Babco Toastmaster Club Instagram account and looked at some of the photos that I wanted to share with you. You know, it has been almost 2 years, yes, 713 days to be exact, since Babco Toastmasters Club last meeting at Awali Club, the last physical meeting. Who would have thought about that the journey of Toastmasters would continue that much behind the screens? Anyone? The fact that the time has gone by with the majority of our members committed to the journey, persevering to change themselves to a better version. The fact that they are still determined to utilize their latent power as much as they can. Our members are the reason why Babco Toastmaster Club is the most senior active club in Bahrain. You are the reason why we are, as a club, looked up to in the district. The club whose members' perseverance kept it going despite the pandemic, without missing meetings or opportunities to excel. BTMC members, the true leaders. No one could have planned for the pandemic. We did not plan for the pandemic. But what kept us going is the toughness of the true leaders, the members of Babco Toastmaster Club. So let's take this opportunity to celebrate going 2 years virtual, and also to set plans for ourselves. Let's set plans for every one of us. Why are we still there in Toastmasters? What do we want to achieve? Whether it's virtual platform or physical meetings, we still have the chance to go into another level. Just food for thought to start the meeting. And now let me introduce the guests. I'll give the guests. We are attended today by a lot of guests, and let's give all of our guests some time. Just introduce your name and how did you join us. So let me go with the first guest as I see alphabetically. Anas. Is it Anas? Yes, Anas. Anas Abdallah.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is, sorry, out of COVID just now, so still impact is there. Sorry for that. My name is Anas Abdallah. I'm a Toastmaster in Young Adult Toastmaster Club, and I was invited by none other than DTM Khalid Abdallah, who is in every single meeting in the world of every single Toastmaster there is in the whole universe, and I think he's also part of Toastmasters Mars. He did promise me if I come that he will give me a Sadim voucher for life, that I'll get fuel, just attend that. That's what he promised me. And I've been clarified that this is down to 5 BD, which I'll still accept by Khalid Abdallah. And I'm here to enjoy my time along one of the amazing club there is. I can say I've been attending multiple clubs, but honestly, the vibe and the energy, the making fun and the family vibe I'm hearing here, I guess that even without the voucher, if I'm allowed, I'm going to be a regular. So thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to learn and having a good time with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anas, Toastmaster Anas. It's really great having you with us, member of another club. And the second guest that I would like to invite to introduce himself is no other than Toastmaster, ex-Toastmaster, Ashraf Al-Khayal.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a pleasure being back with all these wonderful faces and the wonderful ideas come from everybody. I was encouraged by Toastmaster Abdurrahman Rose to attend, and I was reminded by him as well. So I was looking forward all day long just to meet you all and to enjoy this lovely evening with you. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish that you enjoy my presence as I do enjoy yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashraf. I personally enjoyed the last table topics comment that you did in the physical meetings that I attended. What a great speaker. The next guest is Pradeep Kumar. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good evening, dear President and everyone. I am Pradeep Kumar, and in this Toastmasters, first I discussed with Toastmaster Abdul Hadi, and then I contacted Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, DTM Khalid Abdullah, and this is my second meeting. And I am very perseverance of joining this Toastmasters Club. Hopefully, we'll share our knowledge and we'll learn a lot. Looking forward to become a member of this Toastmasters Club. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome, Pradeep. You are most welcome. It's nice having you again in a second meeting, joining us. The next guest is Sultan Hashim. Can you introduce yourself?
Greetings, dear Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters. My name is Sultan Hisham, and I've just joined the Toastmaster program, so I don't know anything about the program. I've talked to Khalid Abdallah to let me know more about this program so I can improve my skills by talking in front of a crowd. I guess that would help me in my career, inshallah. And I hope to learn from my fellow Toastmasters.
That's great, Sultan. The next guest that I would like to invite, well, we have invited all the guests to introduce themselves, I guess. Now it's time for us to hand over the mic.
One guest is coming. If you just wait for her audio to be connected.
Firdaus. Yes, I see Firdaus. I hope
we are not scaring our guests.
That's the intended.
I think that's another guest invited by DTM Khalid Abdallah, and that's why. Nevertheless, let's wait for her to join. And
she can hear
now
she can hear you.
Are you there, Firdaus?
I think you're talking about me.
Yes.
Still the connectivity was not very good, and you start to call about me.
Well, basically, we were inviting all the guests of this meeting to introduce themselves. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the attendees of this meeting.
Okay, sure. I am Firdaus. I work in Babco since 2012. I work as enterprise risk specialist under the business sustainability section, which is under the operational excellence department. So actually Khalid keeps sending me a lot of invitations. So today I just remember that, okay, let me join even if I'm late, but that's fine. I think I will participate today. So I will hear you. Anything else you would like me to say before muting myself?
It's great having you with us, Firdaus, and we'll be more than happy to have you again without special invitations from DTM Khalid or annoying invitations.
No, actually he's not annoying at all. It's my pleasure to join you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
ودي أصادقك فردوس.
عرفان هني ما في التليفون ما يطلع عدل.
Now it's time for us to move ahead to hand over the control to the master of ceremonies, who, when I asked her before taking her first master of ceremonies role in Babco Toastmaster Club, how do you want me to introduce you? She said, well, I am Hanin Al-Mahrous, who is a big spicy food fanatic. So let's welcome Toastmaster Hanin Al-Mahrous, who is a big spicy food fanatic, to the stage. It's all yours, Toastmaster Hanin.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and honorable guests, good evening to you all. It's my pleasure to be the Toastmasters of tonight. The theme of tonight's meeting is a topic that means a lot to me, and I cannot go a day without having it, which is spicy food. For some people, the word spicy is synonymous to chutney, wasabi, Tabasco, habanero. In the end, the word spicy is subjective to the degree of satisfaction it yields you. My appreciation for spicy food has been a weird point of pride for me. For some, it takes bravery and adrenaline-seeking personality to enjoy their raging fire. For those who are testing their tolerance to spicy food tonight, do not reach out for water. It's the anecdote of all other flavors, but it feeds the inferno in your mouth. To see spice as a villain would be an unfortunate misconception. My advice is, make vanilla ice cream your best friend in these tough moments. It is not meant to be your hero, but it acts as the contrast by which we can appreciate the spice and the sweets. I would like now to ask two of our guests to share their experience with spicy food in 1 or 2 sentences. I can pick on people.
Pick on Anas. Pick on Anas.
I see Anas on the top of my screen. Anas, how would you rate your tolerance to spicy food?
I don't think anybody will miss an opportunity for a chicken butter or chicken tikka masala extra spicy to miss out. So that's definitely something on top of the brain. It's the after effect which hurts me, and I'm always afraid. It's not when you order KFC Twister extra spicy with cheese. It's what happens after that scares me, honestly, and usually make me back out of my decision. So I would say I love spicy food. I don't like the after effects.
Thanks, Anas. Firdaus, would you like to share an experience?
Yes, sure. Actually, I have a different story for the spicy food. Maybe you will be shocked, but I love spicy food. I was eating spicy food since 2 years ago. When I was 2 years. So when I was a child, it was a punishment for me when I was 2 years, but I used to love it. So it wasn't a punishment. It was something that I really love it. And until now, my tolerance is really so high. So it's, I can't eat food without spicy.
Thanks, Firdaus. I personally can relate to that. Moving on to the meeting's agenda, we don't have any changes to the agenda. We just have Toastmaster Brahma taking the role of the grammarian instead of Toastmaster Hassan Ashur. Moving on to the role players, it takes collaborative effort to successfully run a Toastmasters meeting. Now, I would like to invite our timer for the night, Toastmaster Lulwa Zayani. Lulwa responded to my question on how she'd rate her preference to spicy food or tolerance to spicy food. And she responded by saying that she does not prefer it as it can sometimes dominate over the other flavors in the food. I now invite Toastmaster Lulwa to introduce the role of the timer.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Greetings, fellow Toastmaster and guest. As timer, I'll time the table topic speaker, formal speeches, and the evaluation. And I'll also alert each speaker of the time that they have left using the green, yellow, and red card, which denotes specific times remaining. Table topic speaker should limit their remarks no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For our speaker speeches, each should have 4 to 6 minutes and during the whole speech. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And finally, at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Most other speeches should have 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The individual evaluation in the ad should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 30 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lulwa. The counter for tonight is Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah. Please brief us with your role.
Thank you so much. Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Hanini are doing amazing. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, good evening to all of you. My role as an counter is to persevere and watch over your crutches. Exactly, Anas. I honestly did not start with the guests, so I don't scare them, but I have, so far, I have 2 ahs for our grammarian, 1 ah for our Master of Ceremonies, and 4 and 1 ah for Toastmaster Lulwa, and 1 and. I think I just demonstrated for you what's an ah counter should do, right? The ah counter would be looking at those filler words that we don't need to have in your conversation. So please remember that. Don't use ah, or long pauses, or yani, you know, and so on. Wish you all the best. Back to you, Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khalid. Last but not least, the listener of the night is Toastmaster TV Khalid Khalifa and Khalifa. He compares his tolerance to spicy food to be at the level of Cheetos and rates us as a 6 out of 10. Toastmaster Khalifa, please introduce your role as a listener to us.
Thank you, Toastmaster Haneen. The role of the listener is to listen in to the conversation and take note of any interesting tidbits and then ask everyone about them at the end. So please pay attention, and there is no prize. I will say it from now, but I wish you luck. That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster TV Khalifa. Speakers attempt to unveil their talents and select topics that meet the objectives of the projects assigned to them. Nevertheless, their progression from their previously delivered speeches is what matters the most. Audience, I call for your attention as our speakers take their virtual podium. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Sheikha Ahmed, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Abdelrahman Nawrouz. Toastmaster Abdelrahman Nawrouz rated his tolerance for spicy food as a 10.5 out of 10 and says that this is a love story, or hikayat ashq in Arabic. He loves and enjoys spicy food and cherishes the pain, which gives him a sanguine feel. Toastmaster Abdelrahman Nawrouz, please explain the objectives of Level 1, Project 1 to Toastmaster Sheikha.
Thank you, Master of the Ceremony, for a wonderful presentation and a cheerful choosing the theme of the night. Well, I didn't have the objective, but knowing that it's Project 1, so probably it's an icebreaker. An icebreaker, there is no specific objective for the speaker, but it's for the speaker to understand or explore where he needs to improve or not. It's not really that. It's just breaking the ice where the presenter will talk about himself or herself. And I'm sure that we will enjoy the ice breaking speech because it's not really an ice-breaking speech, technically. Back to you, and all the luck to our speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdullah. I asked Toastmaster Sheikha on how she would rate her tolerance to spicy food from 1 to 10 and why. And she said she'd give it a 7 out of 10. She says that she enjoys having spicy food, but not to a point that she would lose her taste buds. However, she also thinks that food without spice is a boring dish. Now, please put your hands together and welcome our first speaker with a speech titled, When I Count My Blessings. When I Count My Blessings by Toastmaster Sheikha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Haneen. Am I audible or is it still lagging? Yes? Okay, finally. I hope it stays a good connection until end of my speech. All right. Mama, I want you. Maryam, can you please go and have a shower? But mommy, I want you. Maryam, it's dinner time. Can you go with the kids? But mommy, I want you to feed me. Maryam, all the kids are there. Can you go and play with them? Mommy, I want you to play with me. Hello, Toastmasters and honorable guests. Good evening. Have you ever thought if you are blessed or not? Do you consider yourself blessed? Have you ever thought of counting your blessings? We as humans always tend to forget our blessings and think in a negative way. Whenever life stresses us out, we forget all our blessings that we have and think that we are stressed out. Whining and complaining become a habit, and then we tend to forget what are the things that we prayed for one day that are today our greatest blessings. When I count my blessings, there are 2 blessings that I have got. But let me tell you the story from the beginning. I joined Toastmasters Club back in 2014. And that is when all my great memories have started with the Toastmasters family. As many of the members know, I've been a very active member. I attended almost all the meetings and I did a lot besides Toastmasters. But then what happened? Why did Toastmasters Sheikha disappear? It all started when I got married. And then I had to adjust myself with my new lifestyle, with new chores and rules and here and there. Commitments, family, and everything. And then in 2018, I was blessed with my little girl, Maryam, who you all have already seen in a couple of meetings. And then the challenge started over there. Adjusting myself as a mother, and I still want to do all the things that I used to do before. It was a bit of a challenge. And then in 2020, my little Khalid was born, and that's it. They took over. They are my life. My whole life revolved around Maryam and Khalid. Nothing else. I disappeared. I didn't do anything besides being with my kids and some essential things here and there. But what happened? For a while, I skipped Toastmasters. I stopped doing many activities that I've been doing, and I had to skip some family commitments. Everything was depending on my kids' situation. So I started getting the negative comments here and there from the family, friends, whoever around me. Or just leave them, let someone else do it. Or you'll hear someone say, they're too attached to you. We don't think that a child can love his or her mother this much. So I keep listening, and the negative vibes start to grow on me. And I think, is it bad? Is it? Am I negative vibes reflected? And I start complaining and whining. This is being too much. I can't stand this. It's so demanding. And then all this reflected on my behavior towards my kids. I thought that what happened to me? All the things I used to have interest in, I'm leaving them, and all I do is chores, 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 chores. That's it. I stopped for a while and thought, isn't being a mother a great thing? Isn't it the thing that I prayed one day that I want to have kids, and I have my blessings between my arms now? You all know how attached my kids are to me, that whenever you will see me, you'll see one on my lap and the other one on my shoulder. And then I thought, I think this is the greatest blessing that I have. So when I count my blessings, I count them twice, Maryam and Khalid. My whole life revolves around them. And I think it's not worth anything to skip. It's not worth to skip having time with my kids for anything else, any event or any thing that I need to attend. I can always manage by having my kids around me, because this is what the greatest blessing. And I tend to forget whining, forget complaining, and just enjoy my time when I'm being surrounded with them, because this is my blessing when I count my blessings. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sheikha.
Yes, I think we need to give her a stand ovation. That's the first ice breaking. Also, it's a fake ice breaking. This is, I think, I don't know, second ice breaking, but that's fine.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sheikha. It's definitely great to have you back. We now move on to our second speaker, Toastmaster Mohammed Jabir, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Abdullah Al-Hajazi. Toastmaster Abdullah, could you please rate your preference for spicy food from 1 to 10 and give a one-sentence justification?
Yes, and let me start with a quote. Sugar and spice and all things nice. My tolerance in spicy is, I can rate it to 7. Why? Because I was against spicy food, then I was introduced to spicy food recently, and I love it too much. For my speaker, he's attending level 1. It is his first speech, and the objectives of the speech as follows. The purpose of the project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn basic structure of public speech. This is the purpose of the speech. As early advice, I advise him to be himself and enjoy it, and don't and we are eager to hear from you. And back to you, Master of Ceremony, Toastmaster Hanin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdullah. I asked Toastmaster Mohammed Jabir on how he would rate his tolerance to spicy food, and he gave it an interesting figure, which is 9.9 out of 10. He says that he loves spicy food, but considers people rating themselves 10 out of 10 as extremists, which he claims that he isn't. He believes that spicy food resembles bravery. Please join me and welcome our second speaker with a speech titled Values. Values by Toastmaster Mohammed.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hanin. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, good evening. Shakespeare says, to be or not to be, that is the question. This is part of Hamlet, if anybody is interested. My dad always repeated this particular quote for reasons I don't even know since I was a kid. Yet, as I grew up, and I think as everybody grows up, they would face this dilemma of whom they are and whom they want to be. And I'm here obviously to tell you about who I am. But I'm not here to bore you with what I ate for breakfast or some random facts about me. No, I'm here to tell you about my values, what I actually believe in, what I actually learned throughout my life. So most of you already know me. My name is Mohammed Jabir. I'm 23 years old, despite looking 45. And I've always been that kid in school who always did well enough in the academic side, but not well enough to be exceptional, well enough to be good. Yet my world crashed when one time I actually failed my math test in grade 9. I remember being so angry, I turned down the test paper. I couldn't live with myself being a failure. That's not who I wanted to be at the end of the day. So I had to face a decision, either grow up and work on it, or just accept failure, accept failing for the rest of my life. Yet I don't think I am. So I started grinding on it, and I started giving it my time. And in 2 months or even less, I actually improved my grades. And most importantly, which I knew later on after 2 years, thanks to that failure, I made it to the Bahraini Olympics mathematics team. Imagine it. So someone who failed in mathematics, who's going to work on it for 2 years, can actually improve to the level of elite in Bahrain. That taught me the value of work. I would also remember being one of the shyest people. I was that shy kid who didn't know how to talk, who didn't know how to communicate his desires or wants, who couldn't tell people and tell his friends what he really wants in a conversation. I was always complex, and I don't really know why. Yet a huge chance in my life came when I actually entered university. University then is a totally new universe. You could actually tell people new things about you. You could actually change your reputation, most importantly. So I started doing that. And it was a trial and error process, meeting new people, trying to listen to them, trying to know how they think and what really interests them. I eventually became a channel of communication between, for instance, the department and the students, and some other activities here and there. So that really taught me the value of change, how you embrace change. Nevertheless, the biggest change in our lives is obviously COVID. We all thought it was going to last for a few or 2 weeks maybe. Yet here we are in our 3rd year. When COVID hit, I was supposed to graduate that year in 2020. Yet I took one extra semester, a semester of sadness because I had nothing to do. That black hole, that vacuum was a complete disaster of my life. I remember being so tired of doing nothing. I remember waking up one day just feeling heavy because of the pressure of doing nothing. And I had to change. So I decided it's time to explore. It's time to actually go out there and do something. So I started with running and walking and biking. And ever since that day, ever since the day I made that decision, I couldn't stop. Till this day, it gave me clarity of mind. It gave me peace with myself. I know all of you would probably ask me, why did I join this club? I joined this club to grow up. I joined this club to mature. I joined this club to open up some new horizons. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammed. Toastmasters will certainly be part of your self-development process. We now move on to our third speaker, Toastmaster Sayed Raza, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Alpish. Toastmaster Alpish, could you rate your preference for spicy food from 1 to 10 and give a very brief justification to that?
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. I think I sent you my reply by email.
I might have missed it.
Anyway, okay. So what I sent to you, I will repeat that. So I'm a spicy food lover, and I will give 9 for 2 days in a week and 7 for remaining 5 days, because having spicy food consistently is not good for health. Why I like spicy food? Because the place where I grown up, the food what we prepare there, consider incomplete and with a basic taste if you don't add more spices. So this is the reason I used to have good spicy taste for my birds. I simply love spicy food up to the limit when I got sweat and I observe water running from my eyes and nose. So yeah, that's all about my choice for spicy food.
Thank you.
One more point is that, as you rightly said in the beginning, I don't consider it as a pain when I got sweat or when I got running nose or running eyes. I feel it pleasure and satisfaction to have a food of my choice. So it's all about our perspective, how you take it. Right. Moving next about our today's speaker. So he's attending level 4, project 1. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when he or she presents outside the Toastmaster Club. For benefit of timer, I heard 5 to 7 minutes in the beginning, but the actual speech will be 12 to 15 minutes. So for timer to record, at 12 minutes, there will be a green signal. At 14 minutes, there will be yellow. And at 15 minutes, there will be red. With that, I wish all the best to Toastmaster Sayed Raza. And his speech title is Sayings Are Just Sayings. Back to you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alpish. I asked Toastmaster Sayed Raza on how he would rate his tolerance to spicy food. And he responded by saying that he'd give it a rating of 7 out of 10 because although he can tolerate a 10 out of 10 rating due to his Indian ethnicity, he now prefers food rated as 7 out of 10 since he's been living away from India for the past 2 decades. Please help me welcome our third speaker, Toastmaster Sayed Raza, with a speech titled, Sayings Are Just Sayings. I repeat, sayings are just sayings.
The harder you fall, the stronger you rise. Mr. Ahmed also fell hard. but unfortunately, he could never rise again. And you know why? Because when Mr. Ahmad fell, he fell so hard that it broke his backbones. That left him paralyzed for the rest of his life. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a very good evening. Now, we are not in a live meeting, but this is a virtual meeting. I thought before I proceed, I just remind you of a few housekeeping points. May I remind you to keep your microphones muted at all times, unless you are asked or invited to speak. And if you are speaking, then kindly keep the background noise to a minimum or nil. Please be also reminded that keep your microphones in silence mode or turn it off completely when your microphone is switched on. I will prefer to take any questions that you may have at the end of my presentation or the talk. But if you do have any burning question, then please intervene. And you may do so by clicking on the raised hand icon. But try to keep your question short so that others get opportunity to ask question as well. Failure is the first step to success. There is a report from India that more than 4,000 students committed suicide between 2017 and 2019. And why? It is just because they failed the exams badly. So certainly failure was not the first step to success. Failure was first step to their death. You always see light at the end of the tunnel. But how about people who are trapped in the tunnel, who never get to see the light at the end of the tunnel because all they see is darkness and darkness? Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on with all these sayings, and there are a number of them. But do they truly reflect, and as they are said, and do they really change the course of our life? Now, let me take you back to 2005. Yes, 2005.
Toastmaster Fatima Hussein, why aren't you good with spicy food again? My apology, I did not hear that
Khalid, did you have
properly.
anything? You have any question, or you're referring to Toastmaster Fatima?
I just had an urgent urgent question to Fatima.
Yeah, I cannot handle it. Sorry, I cannot handle spicy food. It's just not my type. Not during, not after.
Okay, may I just suggest both of you, Toastmaster Fatima and DTM Khalid, please exchange your messages or conversations through the typing messages rather than unmuting your microphones. I think that will be fair. I hope that's okay with both of you. Okay. Now let me take you back to 2005. Now this was the time I was working on an island called Jersey. It was a small hospital I was working at that time. Now, for those who do not know where Jersey is, I will suggest that you do a quick Google search and you'll know exactly where Jersey is. Jersey is actually a beautiful small island in between France and England. And that was the time when I was working, I applied for my dream job. And I applied to one of the best and the busiest hospitals in London. And I was just waiting for my interview call. I was patiently waiting for my interview call every single day. But I did not hear that ring on my mobile phone that will alert me that I have got some opportunity in front of me. A very cold morning of 28th of January 2005. I still vividly remember that day. How can I forget it? And I was at the London Heathrow Airport, ready to board the flight to US. And I was obviously quite excited, not only because I was going to the US for the first time, but more than that, I was excited that I was going to present my scientific work in one of the large medical meetings. And I was there with all my laptops and paperwork, and I was doing really a good preparation on the airport. And as I was in the waiting lounge, my phone rang. And I looked at my phone and I looked at the screen of the phone and I saw that it was an unknown number. But I picked it up. Hello, is it Dr. Raza? Yes, speaking. Hello, Dr. Raza, it's Linda calling you from HR department of XYZ Hospital. Are you free to talk? Yes, Linda, please go ahead. Well, Dr. Raza, it's regarding the job that you applied for. And as Linda was speaking, my heart started to race. And they were racing so hard and so fast that I could hear my own heartbeats through my ears and head. Well, Dr. Raza, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been selected for the job and we would like to invite you for the interview. And the moment she uttered those words, I took a big sigh of relief. My tension was easing off slowly. And I was really excited. And out of that excitement, I asked, Linda, but when is the interview? Well, Dr. Raza, I'm sorry to say that it is a short notice. We are planning to arrange the interview for tomorrow afternoon. I hope you can attend that and you can make it for the interview. And what Linda said now just made me speechless. I froze for a moment. My mind became completely blank. And I had a very weird sinking feeling. And with that sinking feeling, I sank in the chair behind me while the other passengers made their way to board the flight. And I said to Linda, Linda, I can't hear you very well. I can't hear you very well. Can I call you in 2 minutes' time? But that was completely a lie. I could hear Linda very well. But I just wanted those 2 minutes to make some decisions for myself. And these 2 minutes were the most precious, but the most stressful 2 minutes of my life. And I sat there, and soon I was having a conversation with the angel of wisdom sitting on my right shoulder and the devil sitting on my left. The angel of wisdom said, Sayyid, you have got a golden opportunity. Do not miss it. Go for the interview. Get that job. It is going to change your professional life, perhaps also your personal life for better and forever. Go for that interview. Do not miss it. While the devil said, Sayyid, don't worry. Go to America, enjoy America. Opportunities come, opportunities go. Opportunity will go and come back again. Don't worry. Give your presentation. Make a big name for yourself. Don't worry. Just go to America. And after having the two conversations, I made some decision. And can anybody guess what I finally decided? Anybody in the audience?
Be with us, accepted the job?
No. I finally decided to fly to America. And you may ask why I did that. And remember, these were just 2 minutes. I made that decision.
Excuse me, doctor, excuse me, but I really think that you made a big mistake. You should have went to France. France is a much better place to live than going to America, trust me. America, it's a mess.
Okay, Toastmaster Mahmood, I take your point. I think we can discuss this after I finish my talk. And I'll certainly take your suggestions, but let me finish and then we can have a discussion. And we will talk about and see what the best place would be that will suit me. But thank you for pointing out. So I based my decision primarily because I thought that when the hospital invited me for the interview, certainly they considered me worthy enough for their job. And I thought if I do not attend the interview this time, surely they will call me again once I apply for the second time. Life will give me a second chance. But did life give me a second chance? Did I get another interview? No. Life did not give me a second chance. I applied for the same job few times for the next 2 years. But unfortunately, I did not get another interview call. So life did not give me a second chance. I also found out later when I returned from the US that there were 2 posts that were announced and they invited only 4 candidates. And do you know how many turned up? Only 2 turned up out of the 4 they were invited. So both got the job who attended for the interview. So ladies and gentlemen, there are different sayings, but they do not unfortunately change the course of life. Yes, they do motivate us, they inspire us, but they unfortunately do not always change the course of our life. Remember, sayings are just sayings. Now, are there any questions from the floor? I'm ready to take.
Yes, doctor. I just wanted to highlight what Toastmaster Said Mahmoud said. America, not a very good place. I mean, people there are, I won't say the word, no Americans here. They're quite stupid, but we're very glad that you're in Bahrain where there are smart people in here.
Okay, I take your views as well. No offense to both of you. But I believe every country has its benefits and the downside. So I wouldn't personally say that America is stupid and Americans are stupid, but you're free to put your views forward. But yes, I appreciate what you're saying. Anybody else has got any question to ask? Any clarification?
By the way, this is just to highlight to Khalifa, who's keeping the spicy counter. I'm somewhere at 5 of 10 when it comes to spicy food. I eat spicy food once in a while, but I don't call myself a spicy food lover. It's okay. So if you are keeping a counter, I'm at 5.
Noted, Mr. President. It was a joke, but it's become real now, so I'm gonna keep it going, I guess.
Sorry to interrupt both of you. I think you are having a conversation, which I believe is off the topic. I would request you to keep those conversations after the meeting is over. So thank you for that.
What is the fun?
Well, I think we can have all the fun once we go out of the room. So we can join a spicy meal.
Which room? Which room?
Outside our meeting room, which is of course virtual at the moment.
We have.
So is the spice dinner is also virtual and.
Yes, we can have a spicy dinner. Why not? Virtually, of course.
So, doctor, does it mean you're inviting us all through Talabat? You're going to order us spicy food tonight?
Well, as I said earlier, I've lost the interest in spicy food. If Toastmaster Haneen asked me before, a few years earlier, I would say I would give 15 out of 10. But over the period of time, I'm not a very good fan of spicy food myself. So I'll have to apologize that I cannot invite you for a spicy meal. But that's beside the topic. Let's come back to the main point. So is there anybody who would like to give an opinion or share an experience And if they truly believe that sayings are sayings, I see a complete silence over there.
Distinguished Toastmaster.
DTM Walid, you have to say something?
Yeah, you were asking about sayings that are sayings.
Yes.
If speaking is of silver, then silence is of gold. I think that's a true saying.
Yes, I think that's very well said. That's very well said. Yeah, as I said that, I'm saying that all sayings they do not reflect. I mean, all sayings, they have some meaning, the hidden meaning there. And some of them would reflect our course of life and our daily life, I would say. But certainly not all of them. But thanks for that. It's a beautiful quote. And anybody else?
Which saying you would say defines who you are as a person?
Which saying is? Sorry, please repeat that again.
Would define you as a person?
Well, I'll pass that to you, Toastmaster Anas. So I don't have a saying for that, what you have just asked. So if you have something in your mind, so please go ahead.
I believe every person has a saying that defines him. For me, I like to say, challenge, bring it on.
Good. No, that's very nice. So thank you very much. Well, in the meantime, just let me look at the time. I cannot see the timer. I have to make sure that I finish on time and not keep you holding for too long. I cannot see the timer, to be honest.
I don't see the timer.
Oh, you spent 11 minutes, 35 seconds. So it's good.
Okay, so we have another 30 seconds to go. Any burning question at the end before I wrap up and finish?
I have a question, Dr.
Yes, Toastmaster Abdullah, please go ahead. Very quick one.
Why we need to go over the seas to have the knowledge and have certificates and don't take it in the country what we love.
So it was Master Abdullah, if I heard or understood your question correct, that why we don't take the certificates from the country we live and love. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that will be wonderful if we can get all the achievements where we live and particularly the place we love. And I would love to have all the certificates from that country. Why not? So the only reason I had to leave India and go abroad, get my higher education, I believe that there were few skills which was not available in my country. During that time, remember I'm talking about 2001, 2005, 2007. So those were different times, of course. A lot of skills you can get back home where you live. You can get a lot of skills in Bahrain, in the Middle East. There's no need to go to America or UK or Europe. So I totally agree. Thank you for that. So if there are no other questions, I thank you very much, all the audience, for listening to me. If you have any question, then you can contact me through email or by phone. But otherwise, have a wonderful evening ahead. Maybe we'll have this spicy food sometime when we get together after this COVID is over. And back to you, MC of the night.
Toastmaster Sayed Rada. Certainly, weighing out alternatives is not an easy task, but I hope that all worked out for the best for you. Toastmasters and honorable guests, we have just heard 3 wonderful speeches, and now we're ready for a challenging and an exciting part of tonight's agenda, which is the table topics that will be run by the one and only Toastmaster Arfan. When I asked Toastmaster Arfan how he would rate his tolerance to spicy food, he said that he wasn't sure on how to quantify his tolerance to spicy food, but it most likely would fall around 7.5 out of 10. Although he loves spicy food, the more he consumes it, the more droplets form on his head. Please help me welcome our table topics master, Toastmaster Arfan Natar.
Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Hani Mahrous, my beautiful and gorgeous and shining fellow Toastmasters, members of this club, and our honorable guests tonight, welcome to you all. I enjoy table topics when I'm the table topics master because I can give you a hard time. But please, when you become the master, don't pick on me because I really don't feel comfortable. Right. So being me, I always like to do things in a different way, and you know me, okay? So just bear with me. And Mr. Timer, I heard there was no timer when Dr. Reza was delivering his speech. That's good because I was going to take some more time. Your perseverance in becoming better speakers includes practicing your impromptu speaking skills. And what are impromptu speaking is when you are simply asked to deliver speech or simply talk without being prepared, right? Simple. And did we hear any impromptu speeches so far tonight? Yes, we heard about 3 or 4 of them. Mini impromptu speeches. There were some guests that they were asked to introduce themselves, and they beautifully did that. That was a speech, a mini speech, but they did it beautifully, simply because they spoke with passion, with love, with their heart. It was so easy and simple. So when you think about that, it's not really horrifying. So where do I add my pinch on this impromptu speaking tonight? I'm spicing it with a bit of persuasion and humor. So the questions or the topics given to you in the form of a question, which you would need to absorb the idea from it, develop and organize a response in the form of a mini speech that is 1 to 2 minutes, with an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Your target is to persuade your listener to accept your opinion. So it's not just an impromptu speech with opening, body, and conclusion. It should also try to include some persuasion in it, while adding a pinch of humor to it. That's how I'm challenging you. And don't start shivering because I know that you will enjoy it. So impromptu, persuasion, and humor. And here we go. Ready? Remember, don't answer your question. Listen to your question, convert the idea and your question into a speech. And when we started this meeting tonight, I noticed that my dear friend Toastmaster Ashraf was here, but now he disappeared. Yes, am I right? He disappeared. So if you don't mind, I haven't heard Toastmaster Taqi. By the way, I don't have the habit of asking for volunteers. I pick on people. Toastmaster Taqi, you cannot hide behind your camera. I see your name, and I know that you cannot say no to me. So I will start with you as the first commentator of my questions topics. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Of
Can you
course
hear me?
you are. Of course you are. Now, I will ask the question twice, and then the floor, the screen, whatever you wish to call it, is yours. Question goes, what are the signs that you have eaten too much spicy food? What are the signs that you have eaten too much spicy food? Toastmaster Taqi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arfan. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, what are the signs that I have eaten too much spicy food? You cannot miss a person who is eating spicy food, even if you're walking with Fatima Hussein and Sar against the traffic, and you can spot someone glistening from 5 miles away, and you know that it is Toastmaster Arfan head while he is eating spicy food. Why? It's full of sweat. That's the first sign you would pick that someone is eating spicy food. What other signs could be there? Now, you can't see me, but if you imagine that I am eating spicy food and I can't really, just a minute, I can't really talk, even if you don't see me from 5 miles away, you would understand that something is burning inside my mouth. It is the pain of spicy food. I'll conclude with one last sign about eating too much spicy food. And it is you thinking about the bathroom while you're eating. And back to you.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Taqi. Yeah, you noticed my head is wetting. True. That's how I enjoyed spicy food. The next commentator, he introduced himself in his second speech that a saying defines him as challenge, bring it up. Is that what he said? Yeah, I like the way he says, bring it up. Toastmaster Anis Abdullah, are you ready for your question?
Challenge, bring it on.
How would you persuade someone to eat spicy food? How would you persuade someone to eat spicy food? Toastmaster Anas.
We all wanted to prank people whenever the opportunity was allowed to us. We all have that devilish thought that whenever you get the opportunity, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna make sure when I make fun of him, it's gonna be hilarious. So if I wanna get somebody to eat spicy, I wouldn't announce it. I would make sure it's the world's greatest secret. And I will make sure whenever I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna invite you. I'm gonna come with all my Arab charm, which I say, hello, you know us. We like to invite you to a lovely dinner, which is going to be very much your expectation with a 3-meal course, having appetizers, having main course and dessert. I will make sure if I'm gonna prank you, it's not gonna come when you are expecting it. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna hide that spicy, extra chili, making it that extra hot. and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do it. You're not gonna expect it. I'm gonna hide it in the third meal, which is gonna be your dessert, which you're gonna come with all your cheers and that I have already invited you to such a meal, such a nice person. That's where the devilish is going to come. And that's where we're gonna do it. So if I'm gonna get you to eat spicy, I'm not gonna do it where, hello, I'm gonna get you our most traditional food, which is minu nesma with fulfil, and we're gonna add that extra spice and enjoy that meal. No. Let's have fun, let's enjoy it, and I'm gonna make it a prank that I'll make sure that when you wanna get me back to it, you're not gonna get me. Master of Ceremony, back to you.
Oh, I'm sure Toastmaster
I'll send you my contact number and address, Toastmaster Anas.
Toastmaster
Mr. Timer, do I have time for 1 or 2 questions? هذه ما أعرف يعني هذه ما أدري شنو. Only one?
Yes.
Why مو كريمة وياي? Okay. So I have one question only, and again,
Toastmaster Arfan, I'm allowed to say.
I don't have time. I don't have time. Sorry, I don't have time.
It's my time. I'll give you my time. Toastmaster Ali Saleh will have a revival coming in the making. I can make sure that people can relate.
Okay. Anyway, I'll make him as he has his humorous speech in the contest. Anyway, my last question, and as I said, I always like to be different, and I want to pick on our Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Haneen Mahrous. My question goes to you. Are you ready? Turn on your mic.
Yes.
Remember, impromptu, persuasion, and humor. And your question is, you are the MC, which you are, and you met someone for the first time, and his name is Mr. Spicy. How would you introduce him in an appropriate manner? You are the MC, and you met someone for the first time, and his name is Mr. Spicy. How would you introduce him in an appropriate manner? Floor is yours.
To begin with, I'd introduce him as a ghost pepper because ghost peppers are unpredictable. They're just as the name, ghost pepper, it starts with ghosts. So you don't see it, you can't smell it, you don't know if it's there. And once you see it, it scares you. I would also introduce them by saying that they taste better than the way they smell. And that comes from experience and trying different peppers. And for them to get to know the person, I would ask them to bite into Mr. Spicy. Back to you, Toastmaster Arfan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Haneen. And that brings us to the end of the table topic session. And I hand over back to you again, Master of Ceremony, Toastmaster Haneen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arfan. That was very well presented. We now move on. Now it's time for the general evaluation session. The evaluation and feedback add value to the session and improve the performance of the speakers.
Business session.
Master Haneen, point of
Business
order.
Okay. Sorry. We now move on to the business session, which is going to be presented by our president, Toastmaster Mohammed Ali.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Haneen. Now it's time to go into the serious part of the meeting after such a great, spicy table topic session, which was really fun. Let me start by asking our secretary, do we have quorum in this meeting?
Mr. President, yes, we do.
All right, then can you read out the minutes of meeting of the last meeting number 354? Go ahead, Toastmaster Taqi, you are still muted.
Mute yourself. Okay, Bismillah. So meeting number 354 was held on 26th of January. The Sheikh moment was delivered by Toastmaster Mohammed Jaber. The grammarian was Toastmaster to be Sheikh Khalifa. Toastmaster of the day was DTM Khalid Abdullah, and the theme was BTMC Champions League, although he only talked about his favorite team and nothing else. The timer was Toastmaster PK Pasha, Toastmaster Lul Wazdayani was the counter, and the listener was Toastmaster Brahma Kamoja. We had 67% of attendance and 6 guests. 2 speeches were delivered, and we had a pretty good participation in the table topics. The best speaker was Toastmaster Gopinath, and the best table topics was Toastmaster Mohammed Jaber for 3rd time in a row, and the best evaluator was Toastmaster Abdurrada Nowruz. The meeting started on time and finished a little bit late, but there was a motion to delay the end of the meeting. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Taqi, BTMC Club Secretary. Can we have a motion to adopt the MOM as it was read? Yes, DT Malik.
Yeah, I raise a motion to adopt the minutes of meeting as read.
Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi, I see your mic is unmuted.
I second it.
So, thanks a lot. The minutes is adopted. Well, it's time for us now to hear officers' reports, and let me start with immediate past President Toastmaster Fatma Hussein.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Toastmaster Muhammad Ali Yusuf. We are holding our elections very soon, in 2 months' time, to select our new officers. So President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer. If you are new to this club and you want to take on a role in the executive committee, please let us know. We're more than happy to help you learn more about these positions. But do keep your eyes open, and if you are keen, start being part of the subcommittees from now, so you can learn what the job is. But keep your eyes and ears open for it. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Fatma, immediate past President. Our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Habib Ramadan. Is there anything to report?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Muhammad Ali. Nothing to report.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. Moving to our, I believe our treasurer is not attending this meeting, Toastmaster Ahmed Najaf. But we are still within budget, and all membership fees and the new members are being paid on time. Moving to our secretary, Toastmaster Taqi Abdallah. Anything to report?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sure you conveyed the message last meeting. I'm here to repeat it. I am the head of PR for the Arabic Forum, which is now postponed until after Eid because of COVID. So I am seeking people to help. So I'm seeking volunteers. Anyone who's interested and maybe someone who wants to be BPPR next term could start by helping me with the posts. And back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Taqi. Our VPPR is next. Toastmaster Said Mahmoud. Anything to report?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm sorry, I'm outside, so I'm looking like this. I can assure everybody. First, I'd like to thank everybody who participated and sent their little scripts to our BTMC magazine. It's on its way. We are about 95% completed, just little finishing touches. And I want to make special thanks to Toastmaster Haleen for picking a food as her theme. It's always lovely to have another foodie in BTMC. And yeah, I mean, I want to add, nobody asked, but you know, my spicy level is around if it's, see, spicy is very complicated, delicate topic when because the spiciness scale or the Scoville scale, as they say, it actually moves exponentially. It's not a linear. So if you see right here, I have the picture. 1 second. See the blue line? That's how the spicy levels goes. It tiptoe you at the beginning, and then out of nowhere, it goes really up, and it surprises you out of nowhere. So picking a number is not an effective way of presenting how you can handle spicy food. And back to you.
Well, what a spicy comment. And I'm sure the magazine will be spicy as much as you like spicy food, Toastmaster Said Mahmoud. Now it's time for our Vice President membership, VPM, DTM Khalid Abdallah.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, fellow Perseverance Toastmasters, good evening. Let's keep the grammarian busy, please. Well, I have so much to report. Let me just report on what is happening just right now in front of my eyes. I feel so honored today. Let me share my screen. I'm just trying to buy some time. There you go. So this is the attendance for today's meeting. And guess what? Oops, that's not part of what I wanted you to guess. Today's attendance is one of the best attendance, well, matching 4 of them in the term. So I think everyone deserves a big round of applause. As to do with attendance, thank you so much, everyone. I think we had good attendance today. Some came as well and dropped, but we still have a quorum, and that's an amazing thing. That's the first thing to be reported. Second to report is a very important occasion in the history of this club, which is, as always, when we are joined with a new member of our Babco Toastmasters family, that gives us joy, and that's give us also perseverance to move forward in our journey as Toastmasters. So let me induct that gentleman. And that gentleman is none other than someone who showed perseverance as a guest. Now it's time to welcome him as a member, who is Toastmaster to be in very very soon, Sheikh Khalifa Abdullah. So let me induct Sheikh Khalifa Abdullah with the script. And the script goes like so. Fellow Toastmasters, it's now our duty and privilege to induct Toastmaster Khalifa Abdullah, new member, into the Babco Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion both for this new member and for our club. This individual has come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership. Well, that script is written for plurals, and I need to adjust as I go. And we now have an opportunity to help him learn, grow, and achieve. I will now call on him forward and ask him to join me on the virtual lectern. Please withhold your applause until the ceremony is completed. Toastmaster, let me just call you from now. Toastmaster Khalifa, you are joining a worldwide organization that has helped more than 4 million people learn to communicate more effectively. As members of the Babco Toastmasters Club, we will definitely benefit from a proven program of self-development. You will become part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated, persevering to helping one another in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. I don't see the Vice President of Education with us. He apologized, but he assigned for you a mentor. And that mentor is Toastmaster Sheikha. Toastmaster Sheikha, would you accept to be the mentor of Toastmaster Khalifa Abdullah?
I would.
Good, your internet helped you that time. Great, thank you so much, Toastmaster Sheikha.
Yes, yes.
Great. Membership in this club and in Toastmasters International is a privilege that carries with it many rewards, yet it also places certain obligations upon you. We are a group of people brought together to do things we could not accomplish alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members in a spirit of enjoyment. This means you, Toastmaster Khalifa, you must work diligently toward your own self-development, evaluate others' speeches in a spirit of support and sharing, assist the club in reaching its goal, remain positive and keep a smile on your face. Let me see your smile on your face. Yes, there it is. We ask you, I feel I got spotlighted. Yes. All right, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. We ask you, Toastmaster Khalifa, to dedicate yourself to personal growth, to share this great gift to your fellow members, and to help keep this Toastmaster Club strong and dynamic. Please face the audience, and I can see that you're already facing your fellow members, and affirm your membership by saying just "I will" toward the end of the paragraph that I'll be reading. Can you just say your name, please?
Khalifa.
Thank you. In the presence of my fellow members of the Babco Toastmasters Club, make this firm obligation to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for each assignment, to apply myself to the projects outlined in the Toastmasters Education Program, to participate actively in club activities, to evaluate others in positive, constructive manner, to build open, friendly relationships with my fellow members, and to bring other new members into the club so that they can also gain the benefits of Toastmasters. Can I hear you say I will?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Khalifa. Would all club members please stand and repeat your club pledge to Toastmaster Khalifa? And I will say this paragraph, and please just say "we will" once I'm done. We, the members of the Babco Toastmaster Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. Can I hear everyone say, we will?
We will. We will. We will. We will.
We will. We will. We will rock
We
you.
will.
We will.
We will.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't have a pen to give that to you, but we would definitely give you more than that pen, Toastmaster Khalifa. Thank you so much for joining Babco Toastmasters Club, and welcome to the journey of self-discovery.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I can't wait to be crushed by your constructive criticism, and I'll look forward to future sessions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Khalifa, for choosing to be with us. And with this, Toastmaster Khalifa marks the 8th member of Babco Toastmasters Club for the term 2021-2022. And with this, I can retire right now as the Vice President of Membership and see you, inshallah, next term. I just did my duty. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, DTM Khalid Abdallah, for this report, and welcome to Toastmaster Khalifa. You are now officially a Toastmaster. You will be receiving an email tomorrow from Toastmasters International, which, in the absence of Vice President Education, I'm gonna just let you know you need to sign in, create an account, and just explore the world of Toastmasters. As our VP he had to leave, I have no report to share with you from him, and this marks the end of business report, the business session. I open the floor to the members. Yeah, I can
Mr. President.
See. Yes, DTM Khan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I would just like to appreciate a few members who have been participating in not just Area 14 contest, which is our area, but beyond. We have Toastmaster Gopi, Toastmaster Udaya Kumar, and Toastmaster Hussein Khamis. They participated in Area 25 contest and showed that they are really true ambassadors of Babco Toastmasters Club. And with this, wearing the hat of PQD, I would love to also invite everyone else in this great family to participate as well. It's a learning opportunity for everyone. And let's show our perseverance as well to other Toastmasters beyond Babco Toastmasters Club walls. And back to you, Mr. President.
That's great, DTM Khalid. Yes, basically, it's an invitation for all of our members to participate out of the club borders and to take roles in other contests, other areas, or other divisions and other districts as well, as we have one ambassador who can link us to many occasions and opportunities. Is there anything else to be raised on the business session by our members? If yes, please raise your hand. If not, then I'm gonna call the business session adjourned, and we'll come back to our masters of ceremony, Toastmaster Haneen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammed. Now it's time for our general evaluation session. Evaluation and feedback adds value to the sessions and improves the performance of our speakers in the club. I'm now going to introduce our general evaluator for the night, who is responsible for these functions. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Walid Atman.
Thank you,
Toastmaster
Master.
Walid, I
Yes.
have a question for you before you begin.
Yes.
Could you rate your tolerance to spicy food and justify it very shortly?
Yes, thank you, Master of Ceremonies. We love spicy food at my house. We all eat spicy food. My tolerance are rated as 4. With respect to my daughter, which is 20 out of 10. She always calls me crybaby when the food is too hot, because nothing is too hot for her. And my favorite dish whenever I go to PF Chang is Ring of Fire. And whoever loves spicy food, I suggest that they try that dish at PF Chang. It's called Ring of Fire. So please try it. I hope that answers your question, our Master of Ceremonies. Fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, good evening to all of you. I am your general evaluator for the meeting tonight. And what is a general evaluator? It's the person who will evaluate each and every role that we had during this meeting, and will evaluate the whole meeting and come up with recommendations to improve for the future. So let's start our evaluation by asking our timer, Toastmaster Lulwa, to give us the timing for the prepared speeches. You are muted, Toastmaster Lulwa.
Sorry. Hello again. Good job, everyone. You all did good regarding the time and everything else. So first, I'll speak about the prepared speeches time. Our first speaker was Sheikha Ahmed. Her allocated time was 4 to 6 minutes, and she spent 5 minutes and 53 seconds. So that was good. Our next speaker was Mohammed Jabbar, and also his allocated time was 4 to 6 minutes, and he spent 4 and 15 seconds. So that was also good. Our final speaker was BTMC Sayyid Raza, and his allocated time was 12 to 15 minutes, and he spent 13 and 45 seconds. So that was also good. So yeah, regarding the table topic, our first table topic was given by Tariq Abdullah, and he spent 1 minute and 37. And our next table topic was Anas Abdullah, and he spent 1 minute and 50 seconds. Our final table topic, sorry, but I didn't record the name. Who was it? But I did record. Oh, Hareen, yeah, I remember. She spent 1 minute and 20 seconds. So all of them were good. The maximum time was 2 minutes, and they were all in the limits. So yeah.
Thank you, our timer, Toastmaster Lulwa. And can I ask the president to run the poll for the best speaker so that the voting is not affected by the evaluation? And while you're doing that, we'll start the evaluation for our speakers. And let's start with the first evaluator, Toastmaster Abdurrahman Nawrouz, to evaluate Toastmaster Sheikha. Toastmaster Abdurrahman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and most honorable guests, good evening. Blessings. Mama, I want you. Or should it be, Mama, I want you? A great icebreaker speech where we could have seen the characters and the voice modulations, facial expressions. What I like about the icebreaker is there is no rules and there should be no room for improvement as such from the evaluator to the speaker. Now, amazingly, when someone is doing his or her icebreaker and brings on a story shape or narrate the things that happens to him personally. And he has characters in what he was saying, and he tries to mimic the voices that, so that we makes us live like Toastmaster Taqi did with the spicy food when he was eating, and he mentions the steam that's coming out of the head of Bu Ali. It gives you an imagination of what the speaker is trying to say. So for an icebreaker, a very good job done by our speaker tonight, that she deserves a big round of applause. She mentioned the negative comments that she were receiving and all the disconnection from the world because of her connection to her kids and because of her connections with the telephone or the internet provider. She manages to bring in humor in her speech, and she also brought out her perseverance to take care of her family. Now, towards the end, the take-home message was, it's important that you give time to those people who are most important in your life, your family. I congratulate you for a well-presented speech, and will be looking forward to hear more speeches in future where you had specific objectives to achieve. All the best, and thank you for the icebreaker. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Abdulrada. And let's move to our second evaluator, Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi, to evaluate Toastmaster Muhammad Jabir. Toastmaster Abdullah, the mic is yours.
Work, change, and stop whining, and let me add, being different. These are the values that Toastmaster Muhammad told us about. Toastmaster of the evening, everyone, good evening, everyone. What I liked in the speech, that he not only rocked the stage, he smashed it, and the confidence and the relaxation when you are speaking, like you are doing a speech, and the order of the things he wanted to convey to us from the beginning of his school days when he had failed at math, to the middle in the university when he wanted to speak and enhance his communication, and in the COVID-19, how he changed with the whining and the depression to an activity that make him more energetic, and learning is continued by the Toastmaster who related at the end. A nice order. We know a lot of things about you. What I liked also, I mentioned the confidence and the relaxation, and what also what I liked, it was not a beginning speech. It was competition level speech. And well, wish you all the best. And remember, in every speech, to be yourself and relax and enjoy the journey. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdullah. And for our final evaluation, we have Toastmaster Alpesh Gurajar to evaluate Toastmaster Saeed Raza. Toastmaster Alpesh, the mic is yours.
Thank you, G. Well begun is half done. This is what we started with our speaker's speech. Hello, Toastmaster and dear guest, good evening. What a spectacular speech that made us, all of us, virtually smile all together. What a spectacular performance, Toastmaster Saeed Raza. Many congratulations. With this speech and the kind of interaction, you made the objective of your speech of how to handle a difficult audience. As per evaluation criteria, my evaluation is not based on your speech. It is based on how you handle the audience. So what I most like about your speech and how you go across to handle the difficult audience. Number one, your perseverance. You appeared persistent all the way, regardless of who is doing what, who is distracting you. Well done. Number two, your professional behavior and respectful interaction with the audience. For example, in between somebody asked a question which was not relevant to the speech, but you didn't put them down. You discouraged them in a very professional way. And that way you bring them back to the track. Marvelous job. Number three, use of strategies to refocus audience back to your speech content. When people ask you a question about spiciness, food, talabat, and all those things, you address them very stable way. You didn't change your expression. You didn't change your behavior. You appear confident all the way. And that's where you broke the confidence of the audience in distracting you. Fantastic job. One more point is that when people ask you a question and when you are not getting answer, you didn't express your nervousness or you didn't change your expression. You just said, can you please tell me? And that was the fantastic way of handling such a situation. And the last one, which I most like, is about your $1 million smile all the way throughout the speech. And that was the most powerful tool to put anybody back to where he is. When you don't know answer, if you be nervous, then people may think that you don't know. But if you smile, others will confuse. Either you know too much or you are still much better position than the other one. Moving on, one suggestion for you is that you made a very good clarification in the beginning of speech about keeping microphone silent, but still some people use messages per advice, which was not able to you that you can understand what people are doing, so that you could have avoided. All in all, it was the best speech, made smile on all of us, spectacular message, good delivery, great amount of confidence, and I wish you all the best for next speech. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alpesh, for your evaluation. And now we go back to our timer to find the timings for our evaluators. You're muted, Toastmaster Lula.
Sorry again. So our first evaluator was Toastmaster Rada Nowruz, and he spent around 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So that was good. And our second evaluator was Abdullah Hajazi, and he spent 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and that was also good. Our last evaluator was Albish, and I think that he spent so much time because the last speech was too long. It was 13 minutes and 50 seconds. So he spent for the evaluation 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Yeah,
Thank you, Toastmaster Lulwa. So, Mr. President, you can run the poll as I complete the general evaluation. Well, what a meeting we had tonight. We counted our blessings with our first speaker to move on to discover our values with our next speaker, and finally to find from our third speaker that sayings are just sayings. Excellent prepared speeches by our three speakers. So please help me give them all a big round of applause. And the three evaluators then did justice to those speeches with their great evaluations. Now, we go back to the beginning of our meeting, the Majlis. We've had the BTMC Majlis going on now for some time, but I've never seen it as lively as I saw it tonight. The Majlis started early, people were joining, and people were chatting all over the place. So today's Majlis, I think, shows the perseverance of our members and shows the reason why we had this idea of having the Majlis at the beginning to get everyone relaxed and chat with each other. So an excellent idea by our ExCom, and I hope we see more and more members join early to take part in the BTMC Majlis. Then we had the Sergeant at Arms. And I want to congratulate the Sergeant at Arms because he started the meeting sharp on time, as it should be. What I miss about the Sergeant at Arms job is in the old days when the meetings were physical, reminding us to put our, you can't see it, our mobiles on silence. I really miss the live meetings just to hear that phrase again. Please put your phones on silence. So maybe we can, even though we are virtual and we remind everyone to put their mic on silent, also to remind us to put our phones on silence as well. Excellent job by our Sergeant at Arms. Then we had an excellent shake moment, on the spot shake moment by Toastmaster Fatma Hussein, who reminded us that walking or jogging on the roads is fun, but it has its hazards. And I remember the days that I used to jog and walk outside. I used to do it with traffic until one of my friends was hit by a car. And then I stopped doing that and I always walk or jog against traffic. So excellent advice by Toastmaster Fatma, and we should all take note of that and never walk or jog with traffic. Always do it against traffic to see what's coming at you, and then you can avoid if somebody is busy with other things and drives straight at you. Thank you, Toastmaster Fatma. Excellent advice. Our grammarian, Toastmaster Brahma. Thank you for a word that everyone can use. And before you give your report, I know that Khalid Abdullah took all the thunder and he killed the word. So let's hear from our grammarian, Toastmaster Brahma.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Well, Toastmasters and guests, good evening again. Here is my report about the improper usage of language. I couldn't find any many things on this particular item. But however, I could learn many sayings and thoughts which was shared by all our speakers. A few of them I would like to share with all of you. Our MC, she has given a very inherent meaning for spiciness, which is enjoy raging fire, which is another way of expressing spiciness. It was very interesting. And the few of this, the first speaker, I think Mohammed, has shared one of the well-known quote from Shakespeare: "To be or not to be, that is the question." It's an alternate way of expressing, is it better to die or live? It was very interesting, good quote. And the second speaker, Toastmaster Dr. Syed, has shared many quotes in his speech. A few of them I would like to share. Actually, the sayings were used in a negative way, but I think this is relevant to the people who took suicide. So it was their thought process, like the failure is the first step to death, which is a negative way of thinking. And the other saying was, light is always at the end of the tunnel. And they were not able to look the light who were crowded within the tunnel. So it's a different way of expressing it. The other thing, like alternate way of expressing pros and cons, like angel of wisdom on one side and the devil on the other side. It's very interesting way of expressing. The few other quotes, like challenge, bring it out. It's very interesting saying. And the one I would like to share is the last evaluator, one of our evaluator has used. Well begun is half done. It's a good way of saying this. The word of the day, I think the total count is about around 12 to 13, which I think DTM Khalid has mostly used this word. I'm very thankful to him. I also, and other people like, the president has used twice, and general evaluator is twice, and Navroz one time, Afan, DTM Afan is one time. So the total count is 12. So I would encourage in the next meetings to use as much as possible the word of the day. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brahma, for your report. Then after the grammarian, we had our president, who opened the meeting with a very inspiring speech about the perseverance of this club and its members. Next meeting will be the meeting that we will be complete 2 years virtually. Our last physical meeting ran on the 26th of February 2020. And it was an excellent meeting, and I still remember it up to now, because we haven't had anything to replace it. And hopefully, if we believe what the scientists are saying, COVID is coming to an end, and soon we should go back to, hopefully before the end of this year, we should be going back to our physical meetings and meeting face-to-face again. So let's hope that we do that soon. But an excellent speech by our president. He opened it with a quote from the founder of Toastmasters, and then reminded us all of the values of Toastmasters and why we are here. And I want to congratulate him on a great way of introducing all our guests to this meeting. So well done, Toastmaster Mohammed. Excellent job. Now we go to the roll takers. The timer, Toastmaster Lul Wazayani, we heard from her for her report. She was vigilant throughout the meeting because she has the most critical role of timing all the speakers and reporting on that timing. Well done, Toastmaster Lulwa. An excellent job. You think that the timer is an easy job, but it is one of the hardest jobs in the meeting, where you have to listen and take note of the time for every speaker. Well done, Toastmaster Lulwa. Now we come to the DTM, who never tires of virtual meetings. DTM Khalid Abdullah. Let's see how we did on our counting.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Reid Osman. Good evening once again, everyone. I just echo back on what DTM Walid just said. Sometimes we feel that the timer role or the act counter or the grammarian are just places to fill, but it's not. When you become that person, and especially for the first time, it will give you that mind shift that will, okay, do I really say that many R's? All right, so let me jump into the report itself. I thought I would not be hearing many. And honestly speaking, I was in another meeting. That's why maybe I could not catch everyone in here. But Brahma, 2 R's. Haneen, yeah, I can see that, 5 R's and 8 M's. Lulwa, 1 R, 1 and. Toastmaster Abdullah, only 1 R. King of R's, Toastmaster Abdullah, 5. I got you saying as well and once. And this is my first time to get someone during the induction saying, we will. So you said we will twice. Distinguished Toastmaster Walid twice. Toastmaster Said Raza was really amazing role again, 3 times us, 1 and 1 long pause. Toastmaster Arfan only 1 Mr. President 4 Ahs and 1 2, which is quite surprising. I've never seen anyone have a crutch on 2. Toastmaster Taqi 6 Ahs. You were brilliant in the table topics, but I think during the minutes of meeting you little bit lost it, and 1 slow. And Toastmaster Sayyid Mahmoud 1 and 2 M's. Thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Walid Osman.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah. An excellent job of how an counter has to listen throughout the meeting and catch every crunch word. Now we come to our newest member of the club, Toastmaster Khalifa, and let's hear from the listener.
Right, so now that the R counter is done, I'm allowed to say all of the ums and ahs that I want to, so without any recording. So to begin, I have these, okay, I'll stop. I have these questions, and so I'll work through, I think, easier and then go harder as we go along. So to start, how many blessings did Toastmaster Sheikha get, as she mentioned in her speech?
2 blessings.
2. Correct.
2.
Correct. That was a natural one. I promise. I didn't mean to do that. So the next question: who did Toastmaster Sayyid Raza have a conversation with regarding flying to America? Funny enough, the grammarian mentioned it.
Linda.
No, on his shoulders.
The angel and the devil.
Yeah. Specifically, though, he mentioned the angel of wisdom, but good enough to get the answer there. To go further, what was Toastmaster Haneen's advice when you have food that's too spicy?
Vanilla ice cream.
Correct. You got it. And lastly, what year did Toastmaster Muhammad Jabbar take a semester of sadness?
2020.
Yep, 2020. You beat me. You win. That's all from me. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khalifa. Excellent
Point of
job
order.
as the listener.
Point of order, DTM Walid. We are running
Yes.
out of time, so please, can someone raise a motion to extend the meeting by 5 minutes?
This is
I raise a
distinguished.
motion.
Yalla, yalla, raise.
I raise a motion. Yes. To extend the meeting
have
by
to- yeah.
15
Go ahead,
minutes.
Toastmaster Khalifa. You have to say your name and raise the motion.
I, Toastmaster Khalifa, wish to extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Any seconds?
Who would second? Someone to raise? DTM Khalid?
This is distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah. I second the motion of the 15 minutes extension.
Okay. Go ahead, DTM Walid. The meeting.
Thank
The meeting is
you.
the meeting timing is extended by
Thank
15
you.
minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, President. So I can take my time. And the next two roles, because they were brilliant the way they run their roles. The first one is our table topic master. I've seen so many table topics run at this club, but never a table topic. I love the way that Toastmaster Arfan ran the session. I'm a dictator and I don't like volunteers. I will pick whoever I want. Excellent job, Toastmaster Arfan, with excellent topics that related to the theme of the meeting. So please join me in giving Toastmaster Arfan a big round of applause for running an excellent table topic session. And the table topic commentators were brilliant. They took the topics and took the challenge that the table topic master gave them, which is to persuade, be funny, and I forgot the third one that he asked, the challenge that he asked them. But an excellent job.
Improvisation.
Improvisation, yes.
Yeah.
But an excellent job by all three table topic commentators. And now we come to the captain of the ship, the master of ceremonies. What can I say about our master of ceremonies, Toastmaster Haneen? Who would believe that this is her first time to be the master of ceremonies? Anyone believes that it's her first master of ceremony role? I don't believe it.
Practically the second. Practically.
I don't believe it. No, that's being a master of ceremony in a meeting is different than being a master of ceremony here in a Toastmaster meeting is different. Excellent job, Toastmaster Haneen, with an excellent theme and the way you introduced the theme and kept the theme going, and then how you introduced all the roles moving from one to another. An excellent job. You deserve a big round of applause. I remember the first time I did the role of Master of Ceremonies. I messed it all up. I was even introducing Toastmaster Arfan, who was known for years and years. And when I came to introduce, I told them, I am introducing one of my friends who I knew before Toastmaster, before Babco. We are friends at university. Please put your hands together and welcome Arif. And then he looked at me and said, who's Arif? So being a master of ceremony is not an easy job, but today our master of ceremonies, Toastmaster Haneen, made it look very, very simple. Well done, and wish you all the best in your future roles. You deserve a big round of applause. Now that we've covered all the roles, what can we do better? Well, I think we've covered everything. We've come so familiar with this media that we are mastering it. But I think one thing that we are missing from the physical meetings, if you remember, whoever had the lectern was standing there, never left it until the person who was coming over to take control, and they shook hands, and when they can't shake hands, they greeted the person and then handing back to the person. We're missing this in the virtual meetings, so we should take care that whenever we introduce a role, a person, we introduce them and wait for them to take control of the virtual media. And then once that person is finished, to hand back to the president, to the master of ceremony, to the general evaluator, whoever handed them the mic, they have to return it back to them. That's the only bit of thing I think we are missing from the physical meetings. I wish that we take care of that small point. And with that, I conclude my general evaluation and hand back the mic to our Master of Ceremonies. Toastmaster Haneen, the mic is back with you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Waleed. Now it's time to announce the winners of tonight's meetings. For that, I would like to call forward our president, Toastmaster Mohammed Ali, to award the winners.
Multitasking.
Yes, Toastmaster Haneen, Master of Ceremonies, thanks a lot. Please be with me to announce the winners as I will go through
You
them.
already displayed the certificate, Mr. President.
Yes, we start with 2 icebreaker certificates, and then we will go to evaluation, table topics, and best speaker. So Toastmaster Haneen, go ahead. So congratulations first to Toastmaster Sheikh Ahmed for your first icebreaker speech after you, which is technically not your icebreaker speech. Well done, Toastmaster Sheikh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammed, and thank you, everyone.
And congratulations also to Toastmaster Mohammed Jaber for attempting your first icebreaker speech at BTMC. Now, I believe this is your 3rd ribbon so far. I'm keeping account of the ribbons you are getting. Well done, Toastmaster Mohammed.
Thank you. And this is my actual first.
This is the first icebreakers, but you get also table topics. Well done. Great speaker in the making. The next, the best evaluator. Who do you think he is? Our evaluator is Toastmaster Abdurrahman Noroz. Well done, Toastmaster Abdurrahman. One of the best table topics, one of the best evaluators of the club. The best table topics commentator today and is Toastmaster Anas Abdallah, joining us for the first time at BTMC. Well done.
Well done, well done.
Humorous speech.
Wasta.
عطوه بكسكان عطوه.
And the best speaker for tonight goes for Sheikh Ahmed. Well done in your icebreaker, best speech of the night. Congratulations and welcome back.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohammed.
Well, we still have 7 minutes according to the new timeline. I'm not gonna go through the full 7 minutes. It's already 5 to 10. Our VPPR excused himself as he is running after a night shift, I believe. So let me take his place to take the group photo before we call the meeting adjourned. So it's your chance to switch on your camera.
Cameras on, please.
Toastmaster Gobi, Toastmaster Said Raza, Toastmaster BTM Abdul Hadi, Toastmaster Ranjith, Toastmaster Taqi Abdullah. All right. I think Toastmaster Ranjith and Taqi will not Okay, Ranjis is there.
I can't turn on my camera.
You are persevering till the end of the meeting without switching on your camera. So
my laptop is buried under hundreds of things. Yeah, I don't want to remove them now.
all right, it's time to say persevere.
Persevere, Abdelhadi. If you switch it off, it will be better because you look like a ghost.
Once again, persevere. All right, this makes it 2 photos, and we reach to an end of a spicy meeting. A very great meeting. It's time for us to say good night and meeting. Babco Toastmaster meeting number 355 is adjourned.